the birds and the bees survive? Right before me, my newfound hippie side once ignored these conspiracies online. Out the window, visions of the earth. Sign me up now, make sure you use your smart. Take a walk on the wild side. Will the birds and the bees survive? Would your children lie to see Mother Nature sigh?
Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
Welcome, everyone, to Smart Health Talk radio show. And yeah, right here is where we help you get more nutrition bang for your buck, because I'm a registered dietitian that believes in keeping you healthy, happy, alive to live another day and enjoy your family and go have fun and hopefully be feeling great inside. And believe it or not, that is a major challenge for most people today, especially when we have like over 35% obesity. When you're obese, it's kind of hard to feel really great when you're carrying around all that extra weight. And I know because I've had my body get screwed up and put on the weight. And I tell you, when the hormones desert you, you better watch out because that weight can come on really quick. But we have lots of great weight loss tips in our Smart Health Talk resolutions. And if you go to our homepage, smarthealthtalk.com, and look for 10 Smart Health Talk resolutions, click on that. We have so many great ideas there for you. And all you have to do is pick 1 or 2 action steps per month and practice that. And by the end of the year, you could have 12 or 24 new habits that could save your life, help you lose weight, and maybe make you look even like hotter than you are right now. How about that? Who doesn't want to look hotter? Well, these are the kind of things that do it, because you know what? When you start living this kind of lifestyle, so many things start changing in your body, and it's very exciting. Because once that energy level starts picking up a little bit and you start dropping a couple pounds because you're eating real food instead of all this processed and junk fast food out there, then you just start getting inspired. And next thing you know, you're out walking. And I tell you, just getting your booty out there and walking for even a few blocks, or 1 block if that's all you can go. But just little by little, just you'll feel that you want to go further. Your body will say, hey, I can do this. I can do another block. Let's go for it. And next thing you know, you're doing a mile, and then 2 miles. And then the pounds will start dropping off. But the thing is, so many people, they get on the scale and they expect all these pounds to just start shedding off. And the thing is, I got to tell you, here's my big weight loss tip as just a registered dietitian. If that's what you're going to expect, all these pounds, because you hear all these stories about people, oh, I lost 5 pounds in a week. Oh, I lost 20 pounds in a month, kind of a thing. And these types of things are not realistic. I mean, maybe if you're like starting off super big and really reducing your calories, that's possible. But that's not a permanent lifestyle and weight loss. And I tell you, if you don't keep your weight off for at least 6 months to a year, it will come right back on like so fast. Why is that? Well, there's a special enzyme called lipoprotein lipase. And it's kind of, you ever heard of the set point theory? Well, that's what participates in it. And what that is when you get a certain weight and you keep it there for a long period of time, your body thinks that's the normal weight. And so it will sabotage you. You're like, gosh, why do I have no energy? Your body is trying to slow its metabolism down. It's trying to be really careful with all the calories, not burn any fat, because it's in survival mode, thinking that there is no food. It could be the middle of winter in Siberia for all your body knows, and there's nothing to eat anywhere. And so it's slowing your metabolism down because it knows you're not eating. It doesn't know there's a fast food restaurant a block away and a huge grocery store full of stuff 2 blocks away. So all it knows is you're not eating, so there must not be any food. So that's why, there's different people say, oh, don't eat after 6. Just eat every hour, small meals, all these different things. But I'll tell you, bottom line, calories in, calories out. And not eating after 6 is a good rule because you eat less calories that way. I prefer mostly like 1, maybe 2 meals, mostly 1 major meal that I'm like, feel like I'm pigging out on, so I'm super satisfied, and then I just can't do anything but sleep afterwards. That's usually what happens. So I try to wait until I've got my productivity done, and then I sit and pig out, and then I go to sleep. No, the best thing to do really is to go for a walk after you eat. And so I'm hopefully working up to that. And that we will, because I like going for my walk at night, actually, and especially when the summertime comes, when I love going at like 8 o'clock at night, when everyone's just kind of tucked in after their dinner, asleep maybe, like me, after they've had their meal, in front of the TV or what most American families are usually doing. And you're out walking, and it's kind of like you kind of got the place to yourself. Not too many people out, you can kind of like just check things out. I don't know, and the temperature is great, of course. And you have to be careful with getting out, but walking during the day can be really beneficial too. And sunoxidants.com is a great website that we have. Oh, maybe I took that one down. Sun Oxidants has all kinds of information about UV radiation and the UV index, because that's what you really want to be careful. Like, I am not a big supporter of sunscreen because we now have a problem with vitamin D deficiency, which is made in your skin by going in the sun. Yeah, we can take a pill, but I tell you, there's no way it's as good as what your own body's making for you. There's just no way. And so when you get out there and you're getting safe sun, you're making vitamin D, but you have to be, when you're standing straight up, you're not getting as much on your skin. The sunlight at that angle is not hitting your skin and covering as much surface area as if you're laying horizontally. So, just keep that in mind. And check the UV index, because sometimes earlier in the day it can be high, depending on what's going on with the ozone and a number of other factors, what time of year it is. But you want to keep it, somewhere around no more than like 3 is like around a really safe level. But you go out there and you get some sun. And, the thing is, I'll tell you a big contributor to skin cancer. And that's exactly what we talk about on this show. Nutrition. These things don't just happen. They happen because our body is like in a vulnerable position by not having enough nutrition. And so our armies of fighter cells in our body that help neutralize things like cancer or provide antioxidants to neutralize free radicals so cancer never happens. If we're like lacking in that department, you could get skin cancer, you can get kidney cancer, lung cancer, all kinds of cancer. because your body is vulnerable. And then you got like the genetic factors, in, and what kind of environmental things have you been exposed to during your entire life? Since there's so many things that you don't control. Your lifestyle and the choices you make for your body is something you do control. So take advantage of that and start thinking, hey, yeah, I got the best phone. I got the best, Nikes, whatever. But think about the best food for your body, because I tell you, that's what's going to be the deciding factor many times on how long and how healthy your life is. And I tell you, I want to stack the deck in your favor. That's what I'm here for. I got some really good information too. We have some good news. Working on having a team called the Herbicide Free UC. And I am so excited to have these people on the show. They're going to be on in the near future. They are role models for the country because of what they have accomplished on getting pesticides off UC campuses. And I am so proud of these students and the faculty and staff that were there to support this effort. It's really exciting, because just think, if this is replicated at every single university in the country and school district, what we could accomplish by stopping the use of pesticide and exposing our students, young, tiny people that their bodies are vulnerable as well because they're small and growing, and these pesticide exposures are we don't even have a level for children. This is only tested against a 180-pound male. That's the standard for everything. They don't test on females. They don't test on children. And so, we don't even know how bad it is. So I say, why risk it? Why risk our children's health when we have choices? That's the great thing. I tell you, when I started eating organic back in the 80s, our choices were limited. I tell you, it was the bread was whole wheat was like a brick, You're trying to make whole wheat bread at home. I was trying to do all the right things. But now, oh my gosh, we got so many great choices. But really, the bottom line is organic fruits and vegetables, real foods, grains, nuts and seeds. Start off with as much of the vegan stuff as you can get. Legumes. I made I actually made 2 dishes out of 1 pan of split peas. And what I love about split peas is not only are they full of protein and fiber and delicious, but so quick to make. I put it in the pressure cooker. It's 50-50 with the water. Get it up to steam, turn it off, or maybe just cook it for 5 or 10 minutes. Turn it off, let it sit there for a while, and they're done. It's done. And then I add broth to it. I added shredded carrots. I took some grass-fed organic ground beef, and I made a separate dish with the peas, and I added the carrots and some onions and ground beef and some turmeric and red pepper, and really kind of spiced it up. And then the other I kept more the I'm trying to remember what was the restaurant again. They had the Anderson's green pea soup, the traditional green pea soup. I kept the other one more like that. And so, just from 1 pan, and that maybe cost me $2. And this was a lot of stuff that I had left for just the split pea. If you add the meat, that always adds to the cost. But that's why vegan diets are so great. They're so much cheaper, for one thing, and they're nutrition packed, of course. But when we start making, those kind of choices, when I get hungry, I got these great wild raw pecans on Amazon, and I mixed those with some dried cherries, dried tart cherries, and some organic barbell berries and that are dried. Maybe a couple of dates in there because they're super sweet and delicious. And I'll sit and like pig out on nuts and dried fruit. And I tell you, that fills you up pretty good. I get some sea snack seaweed, which is like, we were tasting that here. I think, did I make a, I was trying to make the staff here at KCAA healthy too. And so Nick, our engineer, was one of my guinea pigs last week. And I brought some of the new flavor Sea Snacks Lime, which I absolutely love. And I had to like get him to give it a try. So Nick just happens to be at the mic right now. So why don't you give us some feedback on that seaweed Sea Snacks dried seaweed that you tried last week, lime flavor?
Well, right off the top, I had to get used to the taste because I don't eat, seaweed all that often, outside of, sushi or whatever. So I had to get used to the taste, but the more I ate it, the more I liked it.
Oh, okay.
And I loved the lime flavor. Mm-hmm. It almost reminded me of like a non-spicy tahini, like the Mexican chili powder. And it was really good. And it was, what, 30 calories? The good snack that sustained me until, for the whole thing, 30 calories. And it was a nice snack that sustained me until I was able to go home and eat dinner. And, took a little getting used to, but at the end, I enjoyed them.
Yeah, and it's crunchy, because that's one of the...
Almost like chips.
Yeah, it's crispy. So, that's kind of one of the things that people crave. That's why they go for the chips. Plus easy, I like to buy, the lime flavor only came in the small packages, which has more packaging than if you buy the big sheets, which are more economical. And you get more, you can actually make, with the big sheets, I've made, took some sushi rice, which Lundgren Farms or Lotus Foods are two organic grain rice growers, and they have products that are incredible. They're sushi rice. There really is a difference. Have you ever purchased sushi rice, Nick?
No.
No. Okay, yeah. That's not unusual. I think most people out there, that's why I'm bringing it up, okay? That's why I'm bringing up the sushi rice, because I know the majority of the people that are listening to this show right now, which is Smart Health Talk, by the way, everyone, and I'm your host, Elaine McFadden, registered dietitian with a master's in public health and a long time experience eating organic food and getting to know the true organic companies. We don't support big corporate. We support the family-owned businesses because they're the people that really care about us. Trust me. And Lundgren Farms is they're like 3 generations. I absolutely love them. And they have so many great products. For a really good diet product that they have are their rice cakes. Remember rice cakes, everybody? Well, they have them where they're coated with chocolate. And so I like to take, I actually took like strawberries and blueberries and made like a little smiley face with the blueberries and put the strawberries on there. And it was really a cute little snack to give kids. Anyway, that's just another of the many, many products that Lundgren Farms makes. And they have like pre-made mixes for those of you that just want something. You just put it in the pan with some water and butter and there's your meal. But I tell you, those pre-made mixes are such a great fast food because do you ever make rice mixes, Nick?
Yes,
yeah.
I have.
Do you just make it just like the package directions and that's it?
Typically.
Okay. Did you ever think of kind of throw in some more vegetables in the pan there? Or some beans even?
I usually do.
Okay.
Yeah, I usually put in a little extra vegetables because...
What kind of things would you choose?
For rice, I really like broccoli with rice.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're a good combination. Green beans with rice,
Yeah.
I think are made to be with each other. Carrots as well.
Okay, I wouldn't have taken you for a green bean lover, but
I love green beans.
I'm fascinated with that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love vegetables.
My grandmother, she always had a garden, and when I think of green beans, I think of my grandmother sitting there with this giant bowl of green beans that she had picked from her garden.
It's funny you say
and
that.
she canned them. She had so many green beans that she would can them, and they were great during the wintertime. You just go get a jar of those canned green beans, and she'd put like red pepper in there with them.
Oh, wow.
But she had this, and she'd sit there and be snapping those beans.
It's funny you say that because
Pardon me?
It's funny you say that because I'm probably going to be doing that when I get home.
Oh, are you?
I'm probably to make. I've got an idea for dinner, and I'm pretty sure green beans are in the equation. So I'm probably gonna be home and just sitting there snapping peas.
Oh, really? That's so funny. Green beans are just fantastic. And for those of you that, even if you don't have a space, green beans are a great thing to grow because you can grow them right in a pot. They have there's like the vine beans, but then there's the bush beans. And the bush beans just grow in this little tiny, it's just like a short bush, and they get a lot of beans on it. That's one of the reasons I like. But lima beans, that's another story. Lima beans, you got to get them out of the shell, and it's like, it's really hard to find organic lima beans, though. I've wanted to go on a search for that. I keep forgetting, but I really like lima beans. Most of you out there are like, what the heck is she talking about? I have never heard of a lima bean in my entire life. Look it up, okay? They're actually extreme. Butter beans are kind of another thing but we used to have those a lot when I was growing up, and I ate a lot of Southern cooking. So I tell you, down in Texas and Oklahoma, I think they were eating a lot of lima beans back then because that was a big part of our culture. That I grew up with and the kind of dinners we had. But, all the beans. I love all the beans out there because they're just so fantastic. And there's so many different kinds, and they're just so beautiful, Some of them have like these great little mosaic patterns on there, and that little black bean, I think that's the winner for the highest fiber is the black bean. But kidney beans are really up there too. And see, like we were talking about the rice, Nick, the pre-made mixes, like Lundgren Farms has a great selection. If you, people don't maybe think, they may think, to add like the carrots or the broccoli to their rice. Mm-hmm. But do they think about adding beans?
I'll be honest.
To their rice mixes.
I don't usually think about it when I make a pre-made rice mix, which isn't too terribly often anymore. But yeah, I think vegetables. I don't usually think beans, and I don't know why.
And beans are such a great thing to add. But see, this is fast food, everyone. You can buy like a variety of these rice mixes and get frozen vegetables that are pre-cut, ready to go, and you can just get yourself some, I don't know what happened to the pasture butter. All the pasture butter is gone. I think they sold it to France. I heard France was having a butter shortage. I think France says, I'll give you 50 francs for that pasture butter. And they took all our pasture butter. I don't know. It's gone somewhere. I don't know. All those stores are like out for a while now. But get yourself some good omega-3 butter. Put that in there, or some olive oil, coconut oil if you like that. But, you can make that into a super healthy meal. Of course, it's always great. What we wish more than anything is that you're headed down to the farmer's market and you're buying farmer direct from our local farmers here, because then you're getting it just picked. You know that it wasn't stored in some warehouse where they're fumigating with pesticides. You know that it wasn't like stored in some cold refrigerator that had controlled temp for like 8 months storing this produce. You know that it just came from like this farmer, that you've gotten to know because you see him every week. And they bring you the latest harvest, so it's in season, it's fresh, and even if it's the same price in the store, you are getting such a better bargain because, again, it's fresh. It's going to last so much longer. After they're done gassing these foods, waxing them, doing all these different manipulative adulterations of our food, it really weakens it and it spoils way quicker. And unfortunately, I am going to be on this all summer long because we have an infiltration of the organic market with a hydroponic payoff of pretty much hijacking our organic program for high profit margin, chemically grown. I don't care if they say it's organic fruit. They have these berries and who knows, mango. I don't know what all they're growing hydroponically, but they have it in the coconut shells when they grind those up for like gardening and stuff. So they have it like in peat moss and this coconut stuff. And then they have an IV coming in there with these liquid chemicals feeding the plant. Now, this is a whole different situation when it's growing in the ground, roots going deep, soil full of trillions of microorganisms and fungi feeding, and supplying nutrients to the plants, and putting all kinds of nutrition that we don't even comprehend at this point into the food. That is what they're doing now. Even with organic, we have to send a message out there. We will not put up with this. We have people fighting. Dave Chapman is going to be giving me an interview in about a week, and he was one of the founders of the organic program. He spent 13 years of his life, and who knows, countless hours in meetings working on making this certified organic program possible. So you can imagine how he feels. He is a soil farmer. Him and other organic soil farmers built this organic program. Here swoops in the chemical industry. Oh, we're going to do this for a fraction of the cost, and we're going to put those soil farmers out of business, and we're going to rip off the American people of the nutrition in their food that they deserve. And we deserve it. Our bodies deserve it. We deserve good nutrition, and we are getting ripped off right and left with practically every single thing people are putting in their mouth. And it's all about money, people. It's all about the cheapest cost that they could possibly get on that product. And I tell you, I worked with the school districts and hotel chains and all that. And what does it come down to? Yeah, sometimes quality will win out. But most of the time, the lowest bidder wins. The lowest, cheapest product possible is what ends up in our children's lunch tray and on a fast food meal. It's the lowest possible cost. I'm sorry. I'm worth more than that. I'm worth the best quality. That's what I've decided a long time ago, and I don't regret it a single day because you know what? I feel great. I don't need any hip replacement. I don't need a knee replacement. All of my joints are working just great. I don't have any major organ pains. Had problems with my skin, but that's not my fault. It's all my exposures to pesticides by my neighbors in my neighborhood. And Termidex. But that's another story. The thing is, when you start eating these freshly picked food from our local farmers, there is no better feeling on supporting that farming family, and there's no better taste or nutrition or quality that you can give to your body. That body that you live in every single minute of the day that you're supposed to love with every single part of your being. and that you have to fight for. I don't see people fighting for their bodies. I see people fighting to get the newest this or that so they can keep up with the Kardashians. But like, what about yourself? And think about all the people that love you and depend on you. You have to take care of yourself. So many times, we worry about like one person or another person and not even thinking about, the other person that's there too. You can't depend on other people to worry about you. You have to take care of yourself, number one. I'm sorry, that's your job. There is no more important job than that. Because when you have your health and your mind is clear, you're not on 10 different medications, this antidepressant, this other pill to go to sleep, and I don't even know what all these people are taking. I have no medications. I am so free. It is so great. I want this for other people. I'm going to be 63 here in a few days, and I tell you, I feel really good. And I have been eating organic for a long time. So I highly recommend that. I highly recommend getting to know your farmers. Now, we know I want to have a public health message here because I am a public health dietitian. And there's a lot going on with reproductive services in this country. And I happen to be a public health dietitian, and I am pretty well versed on what's going on as far as reproductive prevention. And I tell you, there is, to me, there's the long-acting reversible contraceptives. They're called LARCs. We need to get on board, people. First of all, we have a population explosion in this country, 7 billion people. We didn't even have 1 billion until 1800. It took 132 years to get 2 billion, and then it only took 75 years for 5 billion. The first billion took the entire history of man, and in 75 years, we increased 5 billion people. We need to start preventing pregnancies. 49% of abortions are low-income women. And more children makes you poorer. When you're already poor and you have more children, you become poorer and poorer, and your chances of getting out of poverty become zero. There's just not, you're unskilled. And what kind of jobs are you going to get? How many jobs can you work in a day? There's every single kid pulls you down more and more. So what we have to do is become proactive. Again, we can't depend on these other people to take care of us. We have to take care of ourselves. And I'll tell you, the number one choice, which is 99% effective, 20 times more than any birth control pill, is the IUD. But I really want to have this discussion, and I have saved the commercial, and I'm going to be putting that up on YouTube, because that Meridian one, the one that has the synthetic hormones in it, is totally unnecessary. I mean, that one just it really makes me mad. Because just that little piece of copper, and it's called Paragard, Paragard, IUD. It's a little tiny piece of copper. And you don't need any hormones. You don't need a IUD that has hormones in it. Because you know what? If you want to, anytime you're taking these synthetic hormones, when you want to reverse this, if you decide, hey, we want to have a baby, if you've been on synthetic hormones for a long time, who knows when you're going to get back to normal? People, when they decide they want to have a baby, they want to have a baby. You want something that you can reverse just like that in one day. You can't get pregnant, and then the next day you can, And you don't even have to worry about your hormones getting right because you're not taking any. This Paragard IUD that's just a little tiny piece of copper. And I tell you, I am a public health dietitian, and you would think that I would not be a total idiot like I was about my IUD, which I had in for it lasts 10 years. You don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to take a pill. I mean, I had no cramping. I had no heavy periods. I had nothing. And especially when you're going through a menopause time when who knows what's going on, you know? I mean, it's perfect. You don't even have to worry about it. So I was like feeling really guilty because I went past the expiration date. And I could feel it a little bit for the first time because I had it in there so long. It was like 13 years, okay? And it became big in my mind. And I thought, oh my God, they're going to take this out. I'm going to hemorrhage everywhere. Oh my God, it's going to be terrible. I was like so upset on my way to get that thing out that, I mean, I think we had like a mini accident on the way. I was crying. I just had built this thing up in my mind, and I got there, and I mean, it took like 2 seconds to take it out. And then when I looked at it on the tray, it was this little teeny tiny piece of copper that was like, no way it was going to hurt me. And I'm like, that's it? That little thing right there is it? I'm telling you, it's nothing. And all it is the piece of copper there prevents the egg from adhering to the uterine wall. Something about having the copper in there prevents that from happening. That's the only reason it works. Okay? So, yes, there's other, implants that you can get in that, but I'm telling you, and if you haven't had a baby, no problemo. You can still get the IUD. It's not a problem. I'm telling everyone, we need to become proactive. Don't even risk an unwanted pregnancy. Go and get the Paragard, just copper, no hormone, IUD. Okay, that's my big public health message for that. And okay, we were talking about we talked about the ban thing. See, there was another announcement. There's a really good study if you will put in organic for all into the search. There was a really good study that was done. They took like 4 different families. They tested their urine. They fed them all organic diets, tested their urine again. The amount of reduction in pesticides was astronomical. Just eating an organic diet for 1 week. And they found like, I don't know, it was something like 20, 30 different pesticides in people's urine, like at one time. I mean, it's crazy because everything you're putting in your mouth, you think it's all safe, and they're telling you, oh, little amounts, it's just little amounts. No, those actually accumulate in your body. We are incorporating Roundup into our protein strands. That's how bad it is. And, we're the Roundup, we just had a $2 billion case. Go and check out our podcast on iHeartRadio. That was a couple of weeks ago. We had the lawyer on along with the ginger people who were incredible. We just uploaded on our YouTube. Please find us at smarthealthtalk.com and subscribe. We just uploaded our Desert Shadow edited video. Those people from Australia are so incredible, and their organic hair color, I have used it and it is wonderful. Get off the chemicals in that hair color dye. If you're not trying to go from like really dark to blonde, then Desert Shadow will work perfect for you. And it nourishes your hair. It nourishes your scalp. And their hair oil, I could feel it going into my scalp and helping to stimulate hair growth. It's such a great product. Okay, we know that these pesticides become resistant, and now they want to take antibiotics when we have 100,000 people dying from antibiotic resistance. I don't know if that was like every month. Like I just remember hearing that on a 60 Minutes article. But now the agricultural industry wants to use antibiotics on the citrus fruit. Go look that up. Antibiotics on citrus fruit. We're trying to stop it. We know that it's not good. I knew another study came out, the link between lawn care and mental health. I'm telling you, these pesticides, we're spraying them all around our house, in our house, on our yards. They're affecting our brain. That's why your health and what you're eating is so important, because it's not just affecting us physically, it's affecting us mentally. And I don't know about you, but I want to be sharp, man. I want to like all that stuff that I learned in college, man. I want it right there for me. You know, I didn't study all that stuff for nothing. I studied it because I want to use it. In the last 3 months, we lost 500 million bees in Brazil, and they're spraying unlawful pesticides that we won't even allow here. That's how bad it is. Now, one good thing happened. We have one thing to celebrate. Neonicotinoids, which Dr. Lundgren told us, one seed, one little tiny sunflower seed coated with his neonicotinoid pesticide could kill 360,000 bees. One seed. And we are planting millions and millions of them in this country. We have reported on billions of bees dying in the state, in one state, just fields and fields of them because of these neonicotinoids. Well, the government was going to continue to allow it and expand it even though we saw this happening. So the good guys from some of the NPOs that we have had on our show took this to court and won. 12 neonicotinoids the government had to discontinue them. I read another article. I was happy to hear that rice farmers are using bats to help get rid of mosquitoes. Last week, we reported on the Bat B&B, which is a really great little unit that you can put up, and the bats can live in it, and you never even know they're there. You hardly even see the bat house either, and they eat like so many mosquitoes. I mean, it's mind-boggling how much we are so loving bats. I don't know if we even have any where I live. I'm really anxious to figure that out. And remember that birds are nesting right now. And so if you're trimming your trees, those kind of things, please, don't trim right now. If you can wait till they finish nesting, it makes a big difference. Because you can be cutting down nests, and it's really important for our birds. And when you don't spray pesticides, they have insects to eat. And guess what? When you don't use pesticides, we end up with lots of good pests and hardly any bad ones. That's just how it works out. The good guys win, all right? Okay, so everyone, please go and find us on social media. Go check out Smart Health Talk, and please go check out BlueMonarchProject.com and what we're doing with the monarchs. Buy some milkweed, everyone. We need you to buy milkweed. We have it for sale on Blue Monarch Project. And we'll be right back here again next Tuesday at 4 o'clock with more information that we hope will help you live a happier, healthier life and help save you money so you're getting more nutrition bang for your buck. Thank you so much for listening. I'm your host, Elaine McFadden. Bye.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 106.